Hey Leo. Welcome to my channel Alchemist. Justin here, and I hope that you've had a great week so far. So what I'm going to be doing is a reading from the week of October 9th through the 15th. And for those of you new, which is everyone and your friends, this is a general reading, not a one-to-one reading, so take what you will from it. You'll feel when something resonates with you, and leave the rest with me. Never force a reading, okay? So with that being said, let's go ahead and get to your reading. I've cleansed your space with some sage. Got all the gems here. We're ready to get down. So I'm going to be pulling 15 cards. They're going to be in 5 groups of 3. The middle group is going to be the nature of your problem. The upper left and upper right hand corner are going to be how some future possibilities that can that can go down. The bottom left is going to be kind of where your head space is at, or some perspectives to consider when dealing with the nature of your problem. And the bottom right is going to be how your higher self is playing behind the scenes. And I will be using, if you're interested, I'm using the Aleister Crowley's Thoth deck. So the imagery on these cards are really cool, so I'm excited to share that with you, and I'll make sure that you get a good view of these after I get them pulled. So let's go ahead and see what is in store for you this week, Leo. Oh, there you are. Oh, I love it. I love it when zodiac signs show up in their cards, in their readings. That's really cool. Let's see. Okie dokie, Leo. Let me set this over here. Let's get you some space. Interesting. Okay. All right. What do we have in store for Leo here? Okay. Alrighty, Leo. So for the nature of your problem, you have the Queen of Wands here. And coming in right next to her, you have the Two of Disc, and you have the Ten of Swords. So with the Queen of Wands as your nature of your card, and when you have something that's when you have a court card that is that is like in this nature of your problem, this is like some big force. This is like some big forces possibly coming in. And with the Queen too, this could represent a person. Being a fire sign, it could represent you. You might have some water in your chart. She's the watery part of fire. But what the Queen of Wands represents to me is she is about authority. That calmness in her authority. She is when you have two contradictory natures like that, water and fire like that, you would think that it would be some kind of like explosive, or there wouldn't be this this chemistry at all. But she's a good I feel like she's a pretty solid example of that. She has her oops, let me get a better view here. She has her scepter here. We're calling them scepters because I feel like it's a scepter. But she's got her scepter here. She's on her throne. She's got all this fire around her. She got her cheetah, because every good queen needs a cheetah. But look, she's calm in all this. She is and I feel like that's what okay, let's move that a little bit more. Yeah, I feel like that is the nature of your problem, is how to stay cool when everything feels like it's on fire. Because if I were to put you on that, would you be able to handle? Would you be able to rest your hand on that comfortably and not worry about all this fire? Because she's not bothered, and I think that's going to require it's going to call upon some change if you want to get to that Queen of Wands energy. And this could represent a force. This could be someone maybe you're trying to emulate as well. But I'm getting that whatever this is, there's a change that needs to happen to get to this Queen of Wands energy. The Two of Disc represents not only like the change, but it's kind of like alternating like gains and losses. is that kind of like ebb and flow. You're really ultimately harmony is the end game for the two of disc, but there's going to be, you kind of got to snake through it a little bit. There's going to be, you're going to have your good times and your bad times, but regardless, you want to be, I think this is reminding you here to keep that Queen of Wands energy, despite the changes. It can feel uncomfortable, unpleasant sometimes, but there are lessons not only in the bad, but there are lessons in the good too, because sometimes you can get a little too caught up in something. A little too caught up in that change. So I think this is being mindful during that change and being maintaining that regal air that she has, going through this change, because even queens have to change too. But she's not going to be, she's not going to let like Ten of Swords stuff get in her way. This is, Ten of Swords is about, it has ruin on the card, but it's kind of about like faulty reasoning. Faulty reasoning, disruption, failure, but really I like to look at it too as like spiritually you might be coming to like the end of a delusion. This could be where that two of disc is coming in. These are kind of they're opposing energies, and they say they don't affect this much here, but I feel like whatever this changes, it might be a little uncomfortable. But I think it's going to help give you the clarity that you're going to need to if you haven't gotten to this Queen of Wands level, to get you to this Queen of Wands level, and if you're there, to stay there. I think that this is a good week for you to kind of be mindful of how you're going about, how you present yourself. Going confident but not cocky. I think that's because Leo's we're very proud. I have it's not in my sun. I'm aspiring to be a Leo, if you will. My ascendant is Leo, so you're kind of. I feel like this is kind of telling you to not diminish, excuse me, not necessarily diminish your stuff, but to just be confident. Be confident, be calm, and to where you have authority and influence, flex that. And not in an abusive kind of way. Be. And maybe this is too. Maybe this is because you are coming into this Queen of Wands energy. Maybe this is you learning how to find that balance of, realizing you're the shit, but not, rubbing it in everyone's face, because no one likes that. no one likes that. And I think that's, and I think that really kind of ties in well with what the future is kind of looking like here. Because where I think I want to start, because you got a lot of court card influence here, and the court cards are your princes, your queens, your princesses, and your knights. And what I'm feeling is, I'm going to start with this left side over here. We're going to, on the left side here, you have the Prince of Disc, the Priestess, and the Prince of Swords. So with the Prince of Disc to me, he, let me get a little closer. He represents, he gives me like he's a kind of an energetic guy. He's capable, steadfast, maybe a little dull sometimes, skeptical spiritually. So that really kind of ties into, if you're ending that spiritual delusion, if you don't feel like you need to know yourself, this guy, he's very much about the material. And I think that this is, and this could represent a person. Princes, like I said, like with queens, can represent people. So if, could be, I'm getting, I don't know why I'm getting Taurus, but possible Taurus energy. But regardless, I feel like here this is saying that, the focus has been maybe a little too much on the material, and that it needs to maybe be that shifting needs, there might need a shift that needs to be happening, because you have the Priestess here, and she is about she's going to she's about bringing change. She's like how do I describe her? Her energy is so pure. She's about refinement. The card before her is the Fool, and the Fool, it has very it's kind of this sort of a capricious energy. He just wants to create stuff. Like you've learned this ability, but the priestess is all about she's about refining that. She's kind of about it kind of gets into that change a little bit. She can talk about change, that fluctuation, kind of like working, that maneuvering energies to your will, if that makes sense. And I feel like I feel like this is kind of calling you to get a little more in touch with that, to kind of go between that material and that spiritual realm, because you got priestess represented by the moon here, and the moon is mysterious and very spiritual, and I feel like I really get I'm getting a call that maybe you've been neglecting yourself spiritually, at least on this end. And then with the Prince of Swords here, the Prince of Swords to me, he is he's like a guy, he's very he's got good ideas, he's very impressive, but he can be like a little domineering. He doesn't quite have a direction, you see here he's got it looks, it gives me, he can give you kind of domineering vibes, because it looks like that these fairies are kind of going, they look like they're under his rule. But what I like to kind of look at them as is they're everyone's trying to drive this chariot. You got your main guy here, and then you got everyone's kind of going off in different directions here, and I feel like there's no one's really listening to anyone. There's no real direction. It's very, for being air energy, it's very rigid. It's got a lot of these, I don't know if you can see these like geometric shapes in here, but I feel like the energy is very rigid. And I feel like kind of partners in maybe with this Prince of Disc, that possibly you're just maybe you don't know where your directions, where this change is going right now. You have this, you're trying to be impatient and stuff, but you can't quite seem to find a direction. And I think that it's going to be possibly this, I feel like once you kind of get that, I feel like this area is really kind of calling on balance, because you have opposite energies here. You got swords and disc. So I feel like this is really kind of, how can you get this to work into, how can you turn these two into a priestess, if you will. I feel like that's I hope that makes sense, because that's kind of what I'm getting from there, from that. I feel like there's for some of you, there's this energy, like you want to feel steady, but you don't know how to get there. And I think that once those energies kind of combine together and form that change, I think it's going to help. Not that these energies equal a Queen of Wands, but I think it's going to help you get to that Queen of Wands moment. It could also be too, maybe one energy is stronger than the other. So ultimately it's just about getting that balance, is what I'm getting here. And honestly, I feel like this energy is kind of transitioning over to this energy on the right here, because you have the Prince of Wands, you have the Empress, and then you have the Queen of Swords. And with the Prince of Wands, he's this so many princes. With the Prince of Wands, he comes across like he's very bold. He's strong, impulsive, and that sometimes can turn some people off. I think this is really kind of calling on you to sort of go in with the game plan, because he's even going in a lot of the at least the prince and the princess, they both are going in. I feel like no one's really prepared. They have all this natural ambition and boldness, but then when it comes to perform, he ain't got his clothes on. I don't think the Princess of Wands is here, but the Princess of Wands, she's another one. She ain't got her clothes on, but you want to put on this bold performance, and it's just like, what are you doing, bro? You know, like this is cool and all, but can you get your privates out of my face? And I think that yeah, I feel like with this energy, this is calling you to be, maybe to not be impulsive in this change that is coming. Um, and I think that's going to lead to this Empress energy. And really, I'm gonna pull the Queen of Swords over here too, because what I really feel is that there's going to be this clarity that's coming. You know, the Queen of Swords is like a liberator of the head, like you know, and I say that as in. I think that's. Ooh, I'm gonna pull all these. I'm gonna pull all the cards in here. I'm gonna need like 2 more arms. I feel like here, whatever this faulty reasoning is, the Queen of Swords is bringing clarity to that, and I think that it's going to get to this kind of Empress energy. You know, you're going to get. You know, right now I feel like this is kind of calling to. I like to think of the Empress as kind of like your self care card. She's, you know, this could be where, you know, after all this change has happened or something, you know, you can be kind of antsy. You know, I can get that. You know, if change has taken a long time, you want to get back out there immediately. You wanna Prince of Wands it, and let me tell you, bruh, sis, this ain't. It's cool, but still, you ain't got no clothes on. Let's get beautiful. Let's take some time, love ourselves, get everything straightened up. Make sure we're in order. Making sure we have that clarity, because the princess, or excuse me, the Queen of Swords, she represents like clarity at its like really really intense clarity. In one hand, she's got her dagger here. She's no nonsense. She's got her dagger, very masculine energy. She's got her dagger here. She's got this bearded guy's head here, and then she's protecting her baby up top. And she's a very she's a very lovely figure, and I think so too. If you're not, she's oh, this is actually kind of nice. I think that she can be the result of, if you Prince of Wands it, then that's how you end up with it. You got your shirt off. She's got her shirt off, and she's like, what? What? No one likes this performance? Well, then I'm taking heads. You know, she can become cruel, and I don't think that's that's never her intention. But I feel like if you focus with that Empress energy, then her whole perception of her change. You can see. I don't know how well you can see her, but she's got a softness in her face. You know, she's not. She doesn't give me this dictatorial vibes, but that doesn't mean that she won't go there if not properly taken care of. So that's kind of what I've gotten for. That's kind of what I'm getting for this like future energy. Hopefully that resonates with you. With where your head's at, you have the Hanged Man, Lust, and the Eight of Cups. So with the Hanged Man here, the Hanged Man is he's kind of like he's what happens when you don't take the time to change properly. I feel like the Hanged Man is kind of like redemption through sacrifice, you know, as opposed to he's been forced to stop. You know, he's been going. He's been Prince of Wands it, Prince of Swords it. Prince of Disc is a little slow, but he's bringing Prince energy, and now he's being forced to stop because it's not being used responsibly, or not even being used as it should. You know, his hands are being nailed down here. Sorry, I should probably just stand up while I'm doing this, so that makes it easier. But his hands are being nailed down here, foot's nailed down, and then it's looks like a snake wrapped around here with this ankh. And right now he's just like, all right, I have to stop. Like something's amiss, and I need to get my shit together. And you know, I think this is you taking some time to you got to take some time to deal with that. And that's actually kind of nice. It kind of goes into because here you are, Lust card, Leo. This is strength. This is a strength card in traditional tarot. But the Lust card here, I feel like this is kind of reflecting on your strength. You know, how to get back to this, how to embody your strength. I feel like this is with tied in with this hangman. I feel like this is you reflecting on how you can better utilize your strength, because maybe you've been kind of you might have been kind of leaning on this a little hard, and I only say that just because you have the Eight of Cups here, and the Eight of Cups represents it says it represents indolence, but the Eight of Cups to me is kind of like when you're, let's say, you start something and then your interest kind of wanes, or what's another good example, or it's just like, I don't know, it's a lot of unstable behavior. You've got all these, you have all these cups here, and only two of them are being filled, and then they're like sort of filling these other cups, but like you're bare. It's like very bare minimum effort going on here, and I think the Eight of Swords, or excuse me, the Eight of Cups, calls upon us to where have we been slacking? Have we really been trying our best? Because, and if you have, if there's something you're addressing, good. It's. But I feel like here. It just reminds us to not get stagnant, to not like rest on that. I feel like no matter how old you get, there's always something new you could be learning. If it's like that saying, you got like two athletes. One of them's naturally athletic, doesn't practice a day in his life. The other is practicing, 10, 12 hours a day. I know it's a bit exaggerated. But who do you think's going to get the most out of their stuff? It's going to be the guy who's putting in the time, because eventually talent only gets you so far. You can only we're just going to abuse this Prince of Wands. You can only Prince of Wands it so much. At some point that energy is going to run dry, and then what? And then what do you have? Nothing. What do you have? You got a lion in a cart, still ain't got no clothes. We're still naked. Everyone's. I think we're gonna have to go to the store, but yeah, that's kind of what I'm getting here with this energy. I don't want to spend too much time over here, but I think it does. This is just mainly saying, I feel like you got some heavy stuff on your head. I think you might have, got a little lax and kind of caught you with your pants down to keep this. Hey, when in Rome. But I think like something kind of caught you with your pants down, and now you're reassessing your power. You're seeing where. And sometimes I like to look at the Eight of Cups too as well. It's like this could also be. I know cups relate to emotional matters, so it could be where am I not being fulfilled? Am I? Is it something emotional? Do you have like some projects sitting around that like, oh, you start some things and then you let them go, and then like, oh, you got some that you're kind of passionate about and they're sort of doing stuff, but it's like meh. Yeah, I feel like this is just calling you to action. At some point, we have to. The universe, and even with like Terra, this is actually a good example for that with Eight of Cups. Even with Terra, if you have someone telling you, you have me, and maybe I'm not sure however many other Terra channels you're watching, but it's like if you have, the general message is like the same, like, hey, you got all this abundance is coming and all this stuff, and you're just like, dope, I'm gonna chill, and that's honestly that's really funny with what's coming next. Oh, I tell you, universe is just bringing it home. But I feel like when you sit on that, it's like, well, the universe, I've heard the universe is going to bring me stuff, so where's my abundance? Well, what are you doing? Have you gone out? Have you filled any of these cups since we last talked? Because you have the skill. Your queens. You've told me you can Queen of Wands, Priestess, Lust. Empress. You've told me you can do all these things. Now, I think this is the universe calling you to. This is kind of like nagging you. I know you're aware of this. Whatever your Eight of Cups is, you're aware of this, and I don't think that you need to go through such a hard lesson. This could be, don't I feel like don't stay in this hanged man state too long. I feel like this is just calling, just, and that's appropriate that it came here. This is just calling for you. Maybe it's time to do a new perspective. Yeah, that's what I'm getting with that. Yeah, something kept me lingering there. Um, Lastly, here you have, and this is nice, 'cause so I can wrap this up really quick. You have with how your higher self is playing back here, because it's basically what I just said. You have the Fortune card, the Ten of Cups, and the Knight of Wands. So let's just hold these two together because they're almost synonymous. This is, look at all this abundance. The universe is like, yo, we got gold, we got wheels, we have all the stuff. We want you to be, we want your abundance to be paid for in full. But you have to be mindful of how you channel that energy. Knight of Wands, I think it's saying, with the Knight of Wands, to me he's a double-edged sword. He's got all this energy. He's got big fire energy. We've graduated. We've gone from, oh, I'm not sure, thoughtlessly kind of, or not kind of like inspiration at its nascency. And now you're a big boy, and you're ready to take your horse and set everything on fire. And that's cool, and that's good, because that's how we keep from staying in this Eight of Cups moment, moving things along. But I like to think too, with these, especially the wands, the court cards of the wands, I feel like they act as a reminder to be careful about how you expend your energy, especially the bigger you're coming at it with, the more mindful you definitely need to be, because everything's on fire here. He's ready, but if he misses his mark, then he is nothing. He's like it's just like, it's like if I lit my sage. The sage is not going to stay fresh forever. It's eventually going to be burned out, and then what do I have? I wasted it trying to light this. What I thought was sage actually turned out to just be a bundle of weeds, and I don't know. That's not a good analogy, but you get what I'm saying. This is be mindful of how you expend your energy, because you don't want to. It'd be a shame to have to go through a hanged man. Because that's exactly what a hangman is. What happens when the Knight of Wands goes off without just burning things down without thinking. He shoots his shot, and then you've missed it by a mile. Now everyone's you're gonna be laughed at for a second, because that was funny. But I mean, overall, Leo, I feel like this is a pretty solid reading. I hope this resonated with you. Because this is overall some good stuff, especially with where with how your higher self is kind of playing into this. So yeah, hopefully that resonated with you. I enjoyed the ride. It was definitely good. A lot of good stuff here, Leo. So yeah, I feel like you're gonna have a busy week for sure, but that's exciting, because I'd rather have a busy week than a boring week. In the sense of busy, in the sense of growth, I just don't want to be busy for busy's sake. That's silly. So I hope this all resonated with you. For a clear picture, be sure to check your along with your sun, check your moon, your rising, and I'm inviting people, check your Mercury, check your Venus, check all that. You know what? I think I'm gonna make it a challenge. Check your Mercury this week. And I only say that, and that's kind of a perfect transition after you like, share, and subscribe. I'm going to be doing this segment at the end of things, and feel free to bounce. There's going to be one more surprise card after this end, something at the bottom of the deck, so hang out for that. But, okay. Let's, first day on the job. But we're going to do this segment is I'm calling it Celestial Weekly News, and this is just to let you know what's going on in the universe, right? If only with that simple. I wish I had a map of. I'll have to get one that has a planet so I can point to them. But a couple things to keep in mind for this week. Yesterday, Pluto went direct, so that's a good time to kind of bring some truths to light if you're have anything you haven't been dealing with. It's just a great time for that. Today, on the 9th, is a full moon in Aries. So this is, and you know what? For you, I'm being be especially mindful during this time because this is a good time to start things, to start new projects. So if you have something that you've started, like you've been kind of getting all of your things lined up to release a project, it might be a good time to start that stuff. Don't let it sit. um, so that's another time, trying to channel that energy to work to your advantage, because I don't want you to burn out. I want the best for you, Leo, always. And then tomorrow, and this is why I invited you to look up Mercury. Tomorrow, Mercury is going to be in Libra. It's going to be a little later, so you'll still probably have like a Monday, but know that going into Tuesday, it is going to be good because I think it goes direct. I think it should be in Libra around close to 8, about 10 to 8 p.m. And that's a good time with Mercury in Libra. Mercury loves Libra because it's just like it's a good time to and how appropriate, we're in Libra season. This is a good time to fix any kind of fights or anything like that. If you've had any kind of arguments, now your speech is out of way. We're finally out of Mercury retrograde for at least a little while. Communication is getting back on track. And now I feel like you'll be able to articulate yourself a lot better when, whether if it's, however you want to, however you're using that energy for. And then last little bits of news here, retrogrades. I won't spend too much time on here because I got a little caught up in your reading there. But Jupiter's in retrograde until the 23rd of November. Started back in July. Jupiter rules Sagittarius and Pisces, 9th and 12th house, and it deals with matters of spirituality and philosophy. So this is kind of a time of a spiritual growth and to really kind of question, and how funny. We were just talking about spiritual growth and all that, yeah, I think, this is a good time. This is a good time to really kind of go in and really reflect and see who you want. How are you embodying your energy? That's what's going on with Jupiter retrograde. Saturn is Saturn rules over time, karma, boundaries, responsibility, wisdom. It rules Capricorn and Aquarius, which is the 10th and 11th house. And the 10th and 11th house. But this is kind of like, this is like retrograde time is like a time for introspection. This is a time to like kind of slow things down, at least with Saturn. This is time to slow things down, kind of reevaluate, evaluate our life, our karma, and to just to kind of correct any or not correct, but just to figure out any circumstances. Yeah, sorry, it's like what do my notes say? Got all this chicken scratch here. I don't know who wrote this. But I'm getting better. I promise by next time I probably won't even have any notes. But there's just so much going on celestially, it's hard not to. Uranus is going still in retrograde until it'll be in retrograde until next year, to the end of January next year. I think it's the 22nd. But which is actually kind of great for us because Uranus is the type that'll come in and you'll be sitting at the dinner table and it'll come in and just flip the whole table and talk about y'all need to change. Whereas I should probably tell you, it rules Aquarius in the 11th house. And what did I say about Jupiter? I feel like I said someone else ruled the 11th house. Oh, that's right. Saturn and Uranus got a weird thing. They're sleeping in the same house. But this is a good time for, as opposed to that force kind of change that Uranus brings on, this more gives you a chance for voluntary change. As opposed to flipping the table, it's kind of coming through and just like slowly pulling the tablecloth. It's giving you a chance to rearrange your stuff, as opposed to just like, you know what, I don't like this setting, or goes and just like tears up your house. Lastly, Neptune will be in retrograde until December 3rd. It rules over Pisces, and that rules over the 12th house, and that has to do with illusions, the astral realm, and kind of like imaginations, very dream-like Neptune. Neptune, I like Neptune. But Neptune kind of helps gain like a deeper understanding of like the illusions we might have told ourselves. Really, retrograde time, it's not so scary. You know, this is, I know, but you hear the word retrograde and it's like, but nothing's really happening. When you think about just like what retrograde is, it's just like the perception of something. And I think that this is just doing just that. These are the planets like letting you know, like, hey, these things that feel like they're happening to you, you are in control of them if you know what's going on. Once you link that, make that link, you know, things stop happening to you, and you feel you can swim through it a lot better. It's really fluid, you know. Queen of Wands. So that's what I have for you. Let's see, for sticking around with me, let's see what you got at the bottom of the deck. Ooh, get a little long on time here. So you have success, 6 of disc. So 6 of disc, I think you're going to hit your mark. You know, this is, and I don't know if I mentioned, but the nights sometime indicate the direction, depending on where they're facing, it might be the coming or going of an energy. And I feel like this energy is coming to you. This is it's facing towards your problems. So I think success is coming. So aim your King of Wands at this success. This is where we're going, so that we can sit on our throne and bask in it. Yeah, this is me showing it off to the crowd, basking in it. So yeah, that's what I have for you, Leo. I hope that you enjoyed this. Again, like, share, subscribe, and I will catch you on the next one. Later.